What is going on, folks? I'm Nick. You're watching The Hungry Handgunner. So lately on Facebook, even on the radio, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about the holidays and Christmas and all that stuff already, which is kind of weird because like Halloween's not even here yet. So typically, those holidays, people tend to get together and come closer. But today we're going to be talking about making distance. What is going on, Gunner family? I hope you guys are doing good today. I apologize for that corny little intro. So fall is here. It's getting kind of chilly here in North Georgia for those of us southern people. It's been in the upper 30s. It's jacket time, bonfire time, football time, bonfire time. My favorite time of the year. So with that, with going to sporting events, bonfires, other social functions, and wearing a jacket, there are things that come into self-defense, some of it applicable year-round and some of it very seasonal, that I think we need to touch on today. So I'll go ahead and get the obvious one out of the way. So all spring, all summer, you've been practicing your draw, practicing clearing your button down, your t-shirt, and getting that gun out and in the fight, hopefully. If you haven't been doing that, start doing that, start practicing. You don't have to be at a live range to do it. Make sure your gun's unloaded, all ammo's out of the gun, put the ammo somewhere else, and practice your dry fire in the comfort of your own home. I would, if you live around other people, I'd make sure that your neighbors don't see you with the current political climate in this day and age. So, yeah, practice. But when you start wearing a jacket and cover garments and things like that, that absolutely does affect your draw. Whether you wear it open like I'm currently doing or zipped up, there's a whole host of things that you need to just practice. Just be like, okay, I got to wear a jacket now, and start practicing doing that. So good, got that out of the way. You guys know where I stand on practicing. You should be doing it. The other thing I want to talk about, though, this time of year, all these social functions, people get together. Sometimes people getting rowdy, whether that's alcohol or just enthusiasm at sporting events. I'm not really a big sports kind of guy. I don't really go to that stuff, and partly because of what I'm going to talk about. You get that many people that amped up, that liquid courage, drink a beer all night, whatever, the potential for conflicts goes up. And a lot of times, I'm sure we've all seen the bar fights where it's two dudes face to face, and then they start swinging, and it sometimes a weapon gets pulled, sometimes it doesn't. So today, to boil it down and cut to the chase, we're going to be talking about making distance. So you see a lot of self-defense drills. This is nothing against the trainers. They offer this, they teach this, but a lot of the segments that make like your social media highlight reels, it's just them practicing getting their gun out and going to work on a target. You don't get the full lesson, you don't get the full picture, but a crucial part of that is making distance. If like Joffrey and I were right there, maybe my best bet isn't going to the gun right away, right? I mean, if he's drunk and he's just grabby hands, hit him and walk off. So this is going to come with a huge caveat of check your local laws, make sure that you know what you're legally required to do in your area and what you are legally able to do as far as the use of force goes. But today we're going to be talking specifically about making distance and bringing a weapon into play. So empty hand skill is very important. I'm going to do a whole other video on learning to use your hands. Self-defense is like a toolbox. You wouldn't go with just a screwdriver in your toolbox or just a wrench, right? You want to have a few different things. A gun is one tool in that toolbox. You should be able to be fairly proficient using your hands, and I realize a lot of that has to do with size in some regards, brute strength, but there are several martial arts that cater to smaller individuals being able to leverage different things against larger opponents. I'm a big guy. I'm lucky that way in a lot of ways. So, yeah, make it a point to try to get out this year. If you don't have any empty hands training, find a reputable instructor. Start hitting the mat, start hitting the bag, start sparring. Learn how to take a hit. Learn how to take a crack to the nose and be like, hey, my life's not over. I can keep going. And just practice that. It's good for your mental health, it's good for your physical health, and it absolutely helps you stay prepared to defend yourself. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about Joffrey. Joffrey's drunk, Joffrey's being an asshole, and he's starting some shit. So here we go. Now, recognizing the fact that you can't always control a situation, sometimes somebody like Joffrey here is going to start a fight whether you want to be in one or not, whether you're the most apologetic, easygoing guy in the world. Sometimes he's got it that he's going to fight. There's nothing you can do about that. But in a lot of other cases, there's several things you can do. Best bet's to never get in a situation like this. And if you are in a situation like this, situation where the rubber dummy is attacking you, stop dropping acid or whatever you're doing. No, but real talk, if you can avoid situations where you're even likely to get in a confrontation with somebody, that's your best bet. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you a coward. It makes you smart. Fights are terribly unpredictable. I used to really, when I was a lot younger, I loved to fight. And then I saw some people get hurt really, really badly from simple fist fights. And the older I've gotten, the more stupid it seems like, right? Because you could get really hurt. You could get criminal charges. It's just not a good plan. So your best bet, don't even get in a confrontation. Say, we're at a bar and I've bumped into him. He's drunk and he's going to take it out on me. Look, dude, I'm sorry I made you spill your drink. I'll buy you another one, man. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I bumped into him. I'm trying to defuse the situation. Hopefully he takes me up on it. Hopefully he's like, wow, I'm being kind of a jerk right now. I'll take the drink or I'll let it go, whatever. Sometimes it doesn't work though, and a situation comes to mind. I was out with some buddies. I accidentally bumped into the dude. I think I'd had one beer. And the guy was not taking no for an answer. I didn't make him spill his drink or anything, but I offered to buy him a drink and wasn't taking no for an answer. Ended up grabbing me, pushing me against the wall. And I knew at that point, there's nothing more I can do to get out of this except to make him not want to fight anymore. But again, he's in your space. It's very confrontational. You're not able to de-escalate. You need to make space. Keep your hands up. That way you can block if need be. You can block him going for anything on your person. I don't mean keep him ready to fight, but just keep him up here, hey, I'm sorry. You can go from a very placating gesture to fighting in a heartbeat. So, hey, I'm sorry, he's not listening. Make space. Go for the throat, go for the face. Hell, even a shove is okay. As long as you are getting him back. If you're going to shove him, though, and he's not going to move and you're going to move, that's okay. Learn to work with it. Learn to stay on your feet going backwards. So you shove him, you get back, and there you go. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we were going from the assumption that deadly force was warranted. Maybe he's got a knife in his other hand. Again, don't let him get that close. But make space. So I did want to do some live fire for the demonstration today. That's one of the cool things about the rubber dummy is you can shoot them from this distance, very close distance. There's no danger of ricochet. The rounds are going to go through him. However, the neighbor had a bunch of cars going up, so I think they're having some sort of get-together. I really don't want to be that guy today, so we're not going to do live fire today. It's probably something we'll touch on later. Again, rubber dummies, if you've got a place on your own to train, these are well worth the money. They're a great training aid. But making space, you can practice getting your weapon out and keeping your balance going backwards. You can practice that at home with an unloaded gun. I stress unloaded. My gun's unloaded. These are things that you need to practice slowly and then build up to speed. There's no sense getting hurt, whether that's a negligent discharge or just falling and bruising or hurting yourself. Practice it slow. You can practice with a heavy bag. I've seen people practice with just imagining something on the wall, shoving the wall, pretending like the wall's not moving, you're moving back, and then drawing and being prepared to engage that target. These are skills that hopefully you never need. Statistically, you probably won't need, but it's a lot better to go ahead and train for that and have that in your toolbox, your self-defense toolbox, than find yourself in that situation and be trying to learn it as you go. Self-defense is one of those things where you might get lucky and be able to pick it up on the fly and successfully repel an attack, but I've never heard somebody say that they wish they had less training. I've never heard somebody say they wish they had drilled something less. You're going to revert down to that level of training. So I know a lot of people think you rise to the occasion. Very, very rare. You're going to revert down to that level of training. So takeaway for today, make space, get away from the guy, whether you're going to end up using a firearm or not. Best bet, if it's come down to the point where you can't get out of the fight and the fight's on, back up, get some space. I realize that if you've got a wrestling background, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever, that may be your forte. I'm more of a striker. I'm going to make space. Also, by making space, that allows me to keep more of him in my vision. I can see if he's going for something else. That's just my take on it. I think it's always better to get further away, especially if you are carrying a firearm, which is a ranged weapon. If he goes to something else, you've got that option. A lot easier to bring into the fight when you're not entangled than if you're rolling around on the ground or in a clinch. So, guys, let me know what you think. If you've got training scenarios to help you deal with situations like this, drop them in the comment. As always, stay safe. Thank you for watching. Keep shooting. I'll see you next time.